Welcome to the William Hill World Cup podcast, the first of our daily bulletins in association with the FWA. I'm here with Mike McGrath of The Sun. We've been at England's training camp just north of St Petersburg today. Mike, tell us what it was like.
It was a really good day. They had a lot of local children there who were watching a fully open training session. So it was the sun was shining. Gareth Southgate came out and he was greeted with a local, I suppose you'd call it a loaf of bread, and also some Russian tea as well. The kids loved it, and it was a very feel-good day for them up in Rapinoe, and everybody bar Marcus Rashford trained. So just waiting on how he is before Southgate makes his team lineup decisions.
And of course the kids were rewarded with autographs and selfies with all the stars, which was great. But most of these Russian kids will be looking at tomorrow's game, Russia v Saudi Arabia, and saying, well, how are Russia going to do?
Yeah, and obviously it's going to be the showpiece of the tournament, will be this opening ceremony, and also Russia, they really want them to get off with a win, really, and really set the tone of the tournament. And as hosts, I think they're under a lot of pressure themselves to deliver, and I think they probably couldn't have asked for a better opponents, really, the Saudi Arabians. So it's really down to them to put on a show tomorrow when the action starts.
Is it worth Russia are 40 to 1, I believe? Saudi Arabia, obviously, very long odds outsiders. But is it worth an each-way bet on Russia, because the hosts have often got into the last stages, haven't they? Quarterfinals, semi-finals.
Well, there is home advantage, and I think they've definitely got enough to get out of the group. They've got a very favourable draw. Obviously, they were in pot 1 when being hosts. They don't get any of the other seeded teams. So I think if they get off to a win, I think each way, look, you never know what could happen if they get a bit of momentum, if they get the country behind them, and grip the nation's imagination. Then by the quarter-final times, I'm sure them and the other 7 will really be believing that they can go all the way. But I wouldn't have them down as, my best 8 teams in the world at this moment in time.
Yeah. Now, amongst that group, Brazil the favourites clearly, Germany just slightly behind, France are in there, Spain still 6 to 1, but they've had a real upset, haven't they, today?
Yeah, we were at the training ground and saw the news come through about the manager Julian Lopetegui getting sacked. He's obviously going to Real Madrid. I think that it could either go 2 ways here. 2 real polar opposites. It'll either galvanise them, and we'll see, maybe like Denmark at the Euros when they won it, or they could absolutely fall to pieces, with obviously Hierro in charge now. So I think they've got enough good players there to actually make it a really, really positive tournament after an absolute disastrous start, to touching down in Russia and having to say goodbye to their manager.
Now, England 16 to 1. That pretty much puts England in the quarter-finals as ever. Is that decent value, do you think?
Yeah, I think that is about right. I don't think anybody in the England camp is saying we will win it, but they're saying that we could win it if everything goes well. Yeah. And we've got to have the belief. So I think that price is about fair. And with the expectations as well, I think they've got low expectations, which mean they can go out and play without fear. And when that happens, and you get to the knockout stages of a tournament, then then the belief will really be there. And I think that price might come down a little bit by that stage.
And of course, Harry Kane's a big hope for England, captain and goal scorer. He's in the odds for the Golden Boot, but he's nowhere near as short odds as Neymar, who's ahead, Griezmann, and then Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, the usual suspects perhaps. But what do you think's likely outcome there for the Golden Boot? Yeah,
I think those odds really reflect the magnificent players that will be on show here in Russia. I think you can't look further than Messi and Ronaldo, really, with their goal-scoring record, and maybe also Messi with a point to prove. Yeah. I've had a look at the goal scorers. I think really good value would be Luis Suarez as well. I don't think he's even in those top players that you just mentioned in terms of short prices. I think he's a fairly long price, and they've got a favourable group, a Uruguay team that have been together for a long time, and he's a player of real quality. Providing there's no biting or anything this time round, I think we could see him bagging a few goals in the next couple of weeks.
So all to follow, all to come. But tomorrow's the first day. The excitement's really building, isn't it?
Yeah, you can really. People are talking about it. You can feel the excitement. I think myself and others, really just can't wait for it to get started. There's been a lot of talking, a lot of reporting, and everything I suppose goes out the window once the action starts. And it should be a really cracking month here.
Fantastic. Come back for more with the William Hill World Cup Daily Podcast. Thank you.